Okay. I'll just give people a couple minutes to filter in. Is there anything anyone would specifically like to talk about tonight? Any issues people are running into or questions? Okay. So while people are coming in, let's just anchor ourselves in this moment. Slow yourself down. Slow yourself down. And just drop anchor into this exact moment that you're living. All day long, you've let yourself race ahead, look behind. The funny thing about racing ahead and looking behind is nothing you're looking at is real. You're looking towards a moment that is just potential. It hasn't even happened. When you look behind, you're looking at something that's no longer relevant to the moment you're living. Very human things to do. But it's also kind of the trick of the universe to keep you asleep. The allure of the future, the allure of the past. Nothing shines so bright as the true present. To have the ability to sit down and just throw yourself open to this moment, to just let it all go. Everything that isn't actively occurring right now, you just let it go. You slow yourself down because you have to become timeless. To get to this moment, you have to let go of time. Which means you sit here, open, listening to me, listening to the room, listening, watching, feeling. Without reaching to the future or reaching to the past. All of your karma, all of the mess attached to your name is a product of the past and your dreamed up future, which is really just the past. In this moment, you can just let go of all of it. And just be in this timeless space. And when you do that, you've stepped outside of your karma. All those things about life that you've come to expect don't exist in this moment. All those things that always happen to me. They're just a product of your past and your dreamed up future. You live there all day long, which is the major misstep of your life. But in a moment like this, you show up to have somebody take you out of your past and future. What if you just stayed here? Made this your new normal. No limitations. Everything just a remark of this squeaky clean present moment. What if you spent 10 full minutes in that space? If you just let that peace build. What if you stayed 20 minutes? What if you stayed an hour? What if you let go of time altogether and just sat in this space as if you have always been sitting in this space and always will be sitting in this space? What if there's nothing else to reach for of any consequence? You know, we sit down and we watch TV, and sometimes it's a welcome escape from the dream of our life. But you do that long enough, and at some point, you're done engaging in something that isn't real, that's just some two-dimensional story on a screen. At some point you've had enough, even though it's sparkly and colorful and interesting and passes the time. It also isn't real. And so you get tired of it. And you do something else. Is that so different from the story of your personality? The same 5 days that you've lived over and over and over again. The same joys, the same gripes. What if we just admitted that it's boring? And we just turned off the TV. Threw ourselves open to be with whatever's left. Everybody present tonight has been meditating anywhere from a while to a really long time now. So I know you've at least experienced the comfort of what it means to just stop. To just throw yourself open in this moment and just let this moment touch every part of you exactly as it is. How many times do we need to step into that before we can just make it our home? How many times before you just make that your home base? And let the stories of your life just be a video game that you play or a show that you watch. In full knowledge that while you're enjoying it and you're engaged, that it isn't real in any lasting or meaningful way. To never throw yourself open to this moment and recognize your true self within it would be like turning on a video game and never going back to your life. It's not real. It's not a problem. You can play a video game. You can tell a story. But at some point in your evolution, you have to let yourself see what you already know, which is that it is not your absolute ultimate reality. It's a story you're engaging in. It's not self-existent. If it were, your problems wouldn't disappear when you sit in this class and throw yourself open. A shift in the attention wouldn't make the feeling of the reality of your difficulties disappear the way it does. If it had its own reality, it would survive even after you shift your attention. So knowing that, why make that your home base? Why build a life on quicksand? You can play in your sandbox. You can have all those things you enjoy playing with. You can even have your suffering if you want it. It's fine. But you, at your deepest level, need to stop letting go of the difference between what is self-existent, real, and always here, and some flimsy story of cause and effect. You know, the only real challenge is that when you let go of it, there are other people in your life who are still hanging on to it. But you know the truth and they don't. You know the truth because you shift your attention and you can see that it lifts off of you. And so you know that if all of you shifted your attention, it wouldn't exist anymore. And we set cycles in motion and make commitments with those stories. So we're not going to escape them. The shift we're talking about is not a shift of not having any stories. It's a shift where everything you do, you know the story is not what's real about you. It's a fundamental shift. Suddenly the background becomes the foreground and the foreground becomes the background. This moment that you experience in these classes, that becomes what's reality for you. And the rest is just a story on the ocean of energy that you play with. Anna's saying you become more into your alignment. Yes. Basically, you don't allow your alignment to be hijacked by something that isn't real. You stop letting your consciousness get hijacked by the story. You enter into it consciously. You play the game of life, but you don't fall asleep within it. And in that wakefulness, you find a flexibility that actually makes you better at the story. It makes you a better husband or wife. It makes you better at your job. Because you can see the big picture all at once. You know when somebody is just manipulating you because you can see the whole story. It's just a shift of your center away from what is not real to what is self-existent. It's what's here when you stop holding everything up with your mind. That voice in your head that has to run 24 hours a day just to hold your world in place. You let it go. I remember the moment I learned how to do that. It was after a year of struggle trying to get control over my mind. And for me, it was as simple as I was just walking across this field to my little meditation hut. And the thought dawned on me, what if I just stopped thinking? What if there was just nothing to say about all of this and I just stopped? And in that moment, I stopped. And I've been able to stop ever since. Not through force, but through willingness. Not through will, but just through willingness. Same way you stop anything. You just stop. You let it go. That's my invitation to you tonight. What if you just stopped? I would say let's enter into meditation, but what if we don't even bother to give it a word? What if we don't need the story of a spiritual practice? What if we just stop? Let's do that now. Stabilize your body, just so you don't have to think about it. Stabilize where your eyes are going to be, just so you don't have to think about it. And as you sit here, just breathing, because you don't have to think about it. What if you just stopped? Stopped thinking, stopped racing, stopped pausing, stopped holding back, stopped trying to feel better. Stopped trying to justify yourself. Stopped trying to find yourself. What if you just stopped? Let's stop together tonight. I'm going to stop talking. And whatever you're doing, you're going to just stop. And when you try to start doing again, you're going to just stop. And we're all going to just sit here with what's left in full awareness. And we're going to let that be enough. Forever. At least for the eternity of this moment. Go for it. Stop closing down. Stop opening, stop closing, stop everything. Stop protecting. Stop defending. Stop needing. That's good. But several of you are disappearing in the process. Remember last week we talked about that pure projective force versus that constricting force that disciplines things into form. In your letting go, you're becoming formless. Not a bad practice, but the true practice of meditation is to actually be where you are, objects and all, everything surrounding you in this physical room, and not get sucked into it. Can you be stopping? Can you stop within this physical world? It means every object in this room, you let go of your opinions about it. You set it free, but allow it to remain. that formless state sometimes is a necessary first destination because we're so trapped in form, and it releases us from the story of the form. But can you return to the form without the story? Let your phone or your computer be whatever it needs to be, and you not hold it in place with your head, but not escape from it either. Can you be that generous with this physical plane? Release the story while still being present. Otherwise, it's only a matter of time before you fall asleep in a different way. Find that balance point. You'll know you're there because everything around you, when you free it from your story, becomes divine. That's where the real power is. Not escapism, but unconditioned presence. Keep the objects, release the story. Start trying to swim in that way. See what you can do. But that is the meditative state. Very rarely taught correctly. Relax. Let go. But still be here. Set it all free. Everything you think you know about it, set it free. Until and unless you do that, then you're only ever just looking in a mirror. Don't let time creep back in. Let it go. Nothing to do with it. Just let it go. So you can be free. that spot in your heart that's just ever so slightly gripping. Let it go right now. Let it flow. Let it just be like the open palm of a hand, released. Nothing to protect or defend. Give yourself that. Reclaim that space, that freedom. Okay, let's talk a bit. So if you did what I asked you to do tonight, you should be able to see a few things from that. One, well, I think the one thing I would really want you to just notice is that when you show up in this moment, but release everything you think you know about it, you actually can come to see how much you've been projecting onto it. So much of what you think is external to you, that you're just interacting with, is actually an entire storyline and set of feelings that you are projecting onto every object in the space. This world you think you're walking through is you. In some ways, no different than when you dream at night. The only difference being that it's a shared space. So some of the objects in the space will be the same from one person to another. But the bulk of your experience is not the purity of the object. The bulk of your experience are the subtle stories and feelings and attitudes that you lace over everything. You're the problem. I'm the problem. We're the problem. And life isn't going to ask anything different from you. It's everybody just bumbling around this inner universe projected onto this outer universe. But you are spiritual warriors. Something in you pulled this teaching forward tonight, which means you're ready to look at this. Not intellectually, but the way we just did. Very different. You're ready to live this. Maybe not every minute, but to start stepping into it in chosen moments. It's kind of the ultimate smudging. A lot of times people collect energy over all the things in their world, and then we run incense over it and then kind of blow that incense out, and it removes some of that energy. But this is the ultimate smudging. You clean your environment of you the personality, so that you can have an experience of the real you as consciousness. And you can see there's just nothing bad to it. It's energizing, it's healing, it's unifying. But it doesn't come from you trying to unify or heal or energize. If you did those things, you would just be once again rejecting the moment in front of you. It comes from you letting everything be exactly what it is. It comes from your commitment to non-manipulation of this moment. Nothing to wish. Nothing to wish away. I hope you all were able to have that experience tonight. I know most of you did, because I can feel your clarity. Find ways this week to reconnect with this experience. It's an important one. Anna is saying, what an in-depth inward permission of myself. I felt one with the universe and my vibration is so high. Thank you. Anna, it's true, right? When we get rid of us, what's left? But everything. It's that old teaching of You know, you peel a layer after layer of an onion. And what happens when you finally get to the center? What's left? The student says nothing, but the teacher says no. Everything is left. The entire universe, the stars, everything. You are your greatest limitation, but you have everything you need to peel away that onion. You did it tonight. Okay, everybody, I've got house guests tonight, so I've got to get back to them, but I will be here again next week, and hopefully I'll see you all then. Thank you. You too. Have a great night. Mhm.